I'm here speaking with Grant from MZIMA, again at HostingCon 2009. Nice to see you again, Grant.
Nice to see you.
Good, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. You're enjoying HostingCon thus far?
Absolutely, there's a lot of good attendees here.
So MZIMA's here, I mean, you're making an appearance and you've got a presence. You're telling people about what you do, so why don't you tell me what MZIMA's all about?
Well, we had a number of customers that suggested we come to HostingCon. We're pretty well known in the web hosting space as a performance content service provider. But what we found is a lot of people don't know that we have a backbone throughout North America and Europe and Asia. So we've been coming to try and get the word out a little bit. Our big philosophy at MZIMA has been to use peering as a performance enhancing tool.
Okay.
Most of our competition has used peering as a cost savings tool. Kind of on the road to become a tier 1 provider or trying to get as much of their traffic transited for free as possible. So we've, since inception, used peering as a way to increase performance.
Okay.
So most of the customers that our content providers are sending traffic to sit on broadband end user networks. And what we want to do is go and connect directly to those end user networks instead of going through the public internet backbone. This increases performance, lowers latency, which is obviously good for content delivery.
And you find that your end users, they kind of appreciate this kind of peer networking rather than the alternative.
Exactly. I mean, most customers, after they've been educated a little bit, realize that, well, maybe we don't want our traffic to cross the big public tier 1 backbones, and really would rather have the data go directly to the end users, the broadband users and the cable providers, DSL providers, things like that.
That provides more security too?
It provides more security, but really the emphasis is on the performance.
Okay, faster.
Faster.
Okay, so talk to me a bit about this donut. Like, is it a real donut or is it some sort of comparison to something you offer?
It's a donut made of wires and fiber optic cables.
Delicious.
It's very tasty.
Sounds amazing. Okay.
So traditionally, most of the internet backbone was kind of regarded as a central core that consisted of the tier 1 providers that we're all familiar with. And it used to be that if you were a hosting provider, you would buy from 1 or 2 or 3 of those tier 1 providers. You would multi-home your network so that if one failed or some routes were congested on one, you could route your traffic to a different one. And then on the other side, you would have a broadband ISP also buying from some tier 1 providers. And they might be multi-homed as well. And you would have traffic leave your data center or your servers and go across 1 or 2 or 3 of these tier 1 networks to the end user destination. Well, what's happened over the past 10 years or so is that broadband ISPs, by and large, have moved out to the edge. They've moved away from that kind of core. So even though companies like AT&T have significant broadband assets like the SBC DSL network, those networks are really completely discrete from that tier 1 backbone. So if you think about where end users actually sit in the network, they're connected to networks like Comcast and Cox and Cablevision and Earthlink. Those all sit outside of that kind of tier 1 core that's in the middle.
Sure.
So our philosophy, again, using peering as a performance enhancer, has been to say, okay, we sit out kind of outside of that core as a tier 2 network service provider, and all these other guys kind of sit outside this core of tier 1 service providers. So what we're doing is building direct connections that go around that middle core and going directly to all of those smaller broadband ISPs. So rather than sending the traffic through the core through a tier 1 provider to another one, and to where it's going, we're just going straight to that broadband network.
Wow, so I mean, simply put, you're kind of cutting out a couple of middlemen?
Cutting out the donut hole.
Yeah, exactly. The Timbit. Oh, you wouldn't know what that is. It doesn't matter. In Canada, we have this chain of coffee shops, and the holes in the donuts are called Timbits.
Okay, yeah, so we're getting rid of the Timbit.
Very good. Wow, you can be Canadian before you know it. You've already got the lumberjack beard.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just kidding. By the way, love the beard.
Thank you.
You got to keep it. All right, so what's going on, what's in the future for MZIMA?
So we're in the process of, we've recently announced and we're in the process of completing our build out of our Sienna Carrier Ethernet product portfolio, which consists of a PBB-TE protocol transport, which is similar to MPLS, but it gives a number of specific advantages.
Good, well best of luck in the next coming months, and I really appreciate you talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thank you too.
Cool. That was really good.